Hey everybody, welcome to the second game of the NHL in regular season tournament. Son of Beast and Roy Cruz here. We played the first part of the game as Columbus are heading to Detroit to face against the Red Wings on the other hand. This might be what the competition only takes, but it doesn't matter if they always take the win or the loss if anything has changed up. So tonight's matchup, we're about to be seeing this great on play action. You may have remembered this one, as now this will be soon to be turned to be last season. The Canucks and the Blues rematch again, and therefore the number 1 seed take on against the 8th seed on the bottom of the hand. May not be as important to see this, but that could definitely be a harder one to try to keep things all for at the pressure. And the starting goaltenders for the Canucks and the Blues we have across is Joel Hofer, and the other hand is Lankinen for the Vancouver Canucks. We'll see what it changes with on the other hand. For tonight's starting commentators, I have it across as Willie joining in St. Louis, and along with the other ones we got is a great one to take. And therefore, ballpoint pen and center ice is Silver Spoon. We'll see how this one will change it in to have some great appearances. And joining us back in the intermission report will be Terry Crews and Test Tube. For now, let's go ahead and get started off with Vancouver Canucks starting X-Factor players for the visiting team. The visiting team has brings Thatcher Demko with the post-to-post on a miraculous agility crease saves. He only makes it to show how he was able to have his craziest momentum on that. With the light work save on it last, but now this is the post-to-post blank shot that he's ever been doing it for. Philip Hronek with the Illy edges in the Rocket. Elias Pettersson, tape in the ankle breaker. Marco Rossi with the tape in the no contest zone. Brock Besser with the quick release in the 1T zone. Jake DeBrusk with the big rig and the big tipper. Then it's Philip Hedl, tape zones and the precise and powerful passes. And finally it's Evander Kane, the big rig and a spark plug with the speed boostering on the head. And here to the other side now for the St. Louis Blues, as we'll be seeing what they've got. Starting off is Robert Thomas. He makes the tape zones with only the powerful passes and ankle breaker. He definitely can have speed and elusive dekes and so much more. Jordan Kyrou with the wheels and the tape zones. With Colton Parayko, he only has a stick up in the Warrior zone. Cam Fowler with the wheels and Illy edges. He only has that simple on the turns, so I have that great. Then Jordan Binnington was a goaltender of the night, recharging rapid recovery under pressure. Pavel Buchnevich with the Illy edges and a big tipper. Then it's spark plug, pressure with speed boosting hits, and a quick pick. Then it's Jonathan Drouin with only the tape on the zone. And lastly is Nathan Walker. Pressure T brings it all. Alright, that is going to do for now. And now, let's get to St. Louis to get started for the second game of 4. Blues, Canucks, next on EA Sports. See you there, folks, for the post-game show after the game. Tonight's tonight. It's the Enterprise Center, and it's now the Blues and the Canucks. Rematch is on, and we are underway. Hey everybody, it's Willie from St. Louis, and I'm here with Ballpoint Pen and the first commentary of the crew. That joining us here for tonight will be Silver Spoon. Tonight is the biggest head-on collisions for the rematch between the Canadian and the American team. As it started off, how only happens with this one. This is where we've seen this big hit by Colton Parayko. This one really makes that one smacking down. That is right in the alley of it, and you have no idea how he's able to have that performance. Tonight's starting goaltenders right in the ranges we have is Jordan Binnington for the St. Louis Blues, and for the other side for the Canucks, we have Miss Thatcher Demko. Elias Patterson, the passover is it completed, and now Carlson. Robert Thomas will send it out of here, and now flying to Tim Holloway. And here's Snuggle Run. That one is carried up and out of the blue line. Rebounded by Vancouver. Or into Carlson on a shot. Big save on the play by Binnington. And that one gives back over to Vancouver. Rebound by Pedersen. A shot. Glove save by Binnington. Binnington will try to leave it alone now. That's Carlson with a great block shot. Well, it looks like that only happens with only Dylan Holloway. That definitely makes him hurt. And it's just not what he really is able to do for it. That deflects and it really makes him hurt. That could definitely be a problem with that. And now he's going to be able to have to be shockingly out of here to be in the locker room. So the stands are just going to be sure enough that Dylan Holloway is in the medical room. And we'll have to hear more about this at the start of the second period, if any changes. There's Rosie. Fires that one around the net. Looks to Leon Ogren, and here's Rosie. And Pareko will send it over to Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou the other way. Pass to Neighbors. Neighbors shot. Save up by Tasha Demko. And rebound by Neighbors. Buck gets away with that play. And Broberg will have it again to Buchnevich. Here's Buchnevich, the other hand for the Blues. And middle front stop by Lankinen. Starting goaltender is making some terrific performances as Lankinen holds that one with a huge crowd to the stop. Now they're ready for another puck drop here in Vancouver territory. No score in the first period. Here's really a Nylander. And here's another one chance for Vancouver. Ogren shot, set made by Binnington. Rebound by Cam Fowler, the other way for St. Louis. Blues on attack in the Vancouver territory. Jordan. Broberg went down. Elias Pedersen in the zone for the Blues. Evander Kane, backhander. Another save by Binnington. Fowler looks to Kessel. And that one gets carried in too deeply and rebounded by Vancouver. And there will be an icing for St. Louis. It really goes easy enough because without Quinn Hughes, his only time is being to play for Vancouver to one end to the other. How do you feel about that one will take a wage of without Quinn Hughes, the better captain at the start of the game? Well, I may say that this is definitely going to be really changing. And what we really need to know about this, Robert Thomas and Pavel Buchnevich are the only guys that have been in dynamic duos for they've been that long. I mean, literally. They definitely did so long, and happy to see this performance. They really are starting to give it off. That care being said, it's really the changing that they really did all of it on their own. Nothing's really that climbing out of the way, but that's really much time that they have. The rebound by Sutter now finds to Finley. Finley chance now finds Tropichenko. Suter down a kick on the blocker, saved by Lankinen. And here's Hoglander for Vancouver. Shoots one, a blocker save, and this one is off the net. Rebounded by the Vancouver. Big quick on the motion. And rebounded the other way to Mancini. Hoglander shot, stop made by Binnington. And another chance by Hoglander. What a save! Luger. Other way now, Hoglander. Hoglander stopped by Binnington. Another huge, marvelous save for St. Louis, Jordan Binnington. Well, he's really showing it off. I mean, you have to say what Binnington is really going to get. That improvement is definitely really have to do all with it, what he really needs to be changing for. This hydration for the recharge, he's really up to something, and he can definitely play it all that he has. I'm really sure that Binnington's definitely doing it all what he can to improve it. All and over and over. Moreover, shoots deep. Shots blocked on the defenders. Patterson to pass find Patterson. And here's another drive, and Binnington will cover it up with only 14:06 to go in the first period. Now that time I will now send it over in the center ice is Silver Spoon, and therefore calling for is Pavel Buchnevich. Thanks, guys. Pavel Buchnevich is really one of a chained up to be how they all their confidence and control. One thing we notice about is how he's really handling it. The motion of this offense is turning to be like its equivalent for Pavel Buchnevich. The change it already makes him do. One thing is to change it's how he's able to have his own communication and skills. Priority to the first task is the first way to get it down. But when this changes the other way, you have to understand this for Pavel Buchnevich. This is a big start to have the equivalent for the captain to start things off. I'm looking forward to it for now for Pavel Buchnevich to start out, and it only makes him why or why not. Let's see how it goes. Willie, thank you so much, your silver spoon. And there's Bester now finding to Pedersen. Pedersen the other way. This one gets knocked in right around the net. And rebounded over it again to Tropichenko. Here's Shaq Finley, the transfer from the Tampa Bay Lightning. And here's Besser. The other way now for the Vancouver Canucks. Besser, big save by Binnington. Jonathan Druden, all along the boards. Rebound by Willander. Oh, great shot. And that one was covered by Binnington as we're nearing the midway mark of the first period. Blues in control now for it's a great block shot. But there's another hand to talk about this. And now back to Silver Spoon of Elias Pettersson. Elias Pettersson was really like the equivalent to have that beauty and the better take. Elias Pettersson really may have to see how he's able to change it off to four. But the only time is just oftenly for Pettersson to have his own witness to have its goal and strength. They don't seem to carry it for. What everything happens with for Pettersson, that's the one that he really will have to be. Changing's no big difference. They definitely have to see what they can definitely do for if he has it some extra room to have that breathing and try to keep that one from denying from the Blues. This is a tough angle. We're hoping to wait for seeing an action play, but I'm pretty sure that the Blues might see what it goes with Elias Pettersson. Let's see how he handles it on the best take. Willie, over to you. Behind the net is Cam Fowler. Past midway mark in the first period, and here's Kessel the other way. The Blues are really starting to have that one with the knockoff swing. This really is going to definitely have it out with knocking it in and out the whole time. Big kick out on the pad by Lankinen. Drawn shot, saved by Lankinen. 8:25 left to go in the first period. And it's still ready for another puck drop to have the number defending of the winner. Now they're ready to have that puck drop. This flips it up to Elias Pettersson with the winning puck drop for the 50-50. Elias Pettersson now finds it over to Carlson. Carlson between the corner. Pettersson blocked the shot again. Parayko looks it over to Neighbors with under 8 minutes remaining in the first. Neighbors shoots it, saved by Lankinen. Oronek back to Pettersson. He will find it to Thomas and a big giveaway. Here's Neighbors. Neighbors outside. Broberg shoots one. Another save by Lankinen. Pettersson gets knocked down, and Lankinen will take the puck stop with only 7:08 to go in the first period. He's starting to get a lot of huge efforts, and I don't know how they're doing this, but that's really another knockdown to have that key emotion. So they're definitely going to have to try to figure this out for the Blues to get to a great blocking effort. And after a block shot by the Blues, here's Neighbors the other way. Robert Thomas, double rock, gloving the save by Lankinen. Only 6:30 left to remain in the first period as they're ready for their next puck drop in control. Still not a lot of change off here for the goals, still 0-0. And a win for Vancouver. We'll take it the other way in the St. Louis territory. Bowen in front, glove and save by Binnington. And Parayko will have it over to Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas goes down again. Thomas shot glove deep by Lankinen. And Bowen will get it over to Douglas. Here's Douglas for Vancouver. Kane should save by Binnington. Cross from Pate. Douglas getting a little bit of fade, and then it's another big save by Binnington. Robert Thomas back in Vancouver. We'll take it away from it. Back to Ratty. Ratty sends it all the way down around the net. And Colton Parayko will find Broberg to have it over to Kyrou. Kyrou, no cut change. To have that one with a little seek and deep. Here's Parayko. Looks to Kyrou. Kyrou shot. He scores! Quick step strikes on from Jordan Kyrou. Blues 1-0. Well, that's one way to get away with this. And Jordan Kyrou was doing it the other way. This is a big snapper, and it being by defenders and right over to the goaltender. That's one heck of a draw. He shoots it way high enough to have a lot of shooting percentage skill. You don't know what's going to happen with Parayko, but that is the first part of the goal. That one zips it through. That's a great early start. And have a look. Blues with a 1-0 lead with only 4:17 to go in the first period. I gotta say that Jordan Kyrou is really giving a great standard to this, but that's really another big change to have it looking the other way. Now they'll have to see this if they can have that one change it on defense effort to keep it away from it. The Blues are back in offense zone. Now finds Cam Fowler. Sends all the way deep. Lankinen. Patterson now find Hoglander. Here's DeBrusque. Giving a little trouble here. Now finding Philip Hronek. Looks over to Bluger. Bluger knocks him down. Dvorsky looks to Fowler, and now it's the Blues will take a change on offense. Wheels on the fast chain. Given away by Jake DeBrusque. Fowler's shot goes off the skater. Rebound by Pedersen. And here's another one to DeBrusque. Vancouver back in the offense zone for the Blues. DeBrusque knocked him down with the wall. And it's Pavel Buchnevich to send it over to Snugglrug. Here's Snugglrug, deep to zone to Dronen. Dronen's shot deflected off the sticks by defenders, and as Philip Hronek will have it again. Rebound by DeBrusque. And they're on the attack. DeBrusque. Shot. Another save again by Binnington. And that one will kick the pad right over to Fowler. He'll set the Snugglrug to find Dronen. Dronen shot. Hey, rings the goalpost. That's definitely a close call. Yeah, but they definitely don't really think about it now. I mean, I thought this was going to stay in. And that net is really kind of challenging. Broberg can't stay in the zone, and this one will race out of here in the Blues territory with under a minute remaining. Jake Neighbors. Neighbors looks at Kyrou. Kyrou looks over it again to Dvorsky. Gives a quickly chance over to Colton Parayko. He'll send it around the net. 15 seconds left in the first period. And it's Besser. Back to Dvorsky. Here's Kyrou. In motion, Neighbors. Neighbors looks at Dvorsky's shot. Big save by Lankinen. And he made another stop. And that ends this first period with an unlucky 2-0 lead. It's a first draw to have that one switch it away. What a save. You have to see what Lankinen did. And that's prove it to do all it takes. 1-0 starts to score. Jordan Kyrou snaps it home to start with the 1-0 lead. Blues 1, Vancouver 0. Be back for the second period. Hey guys, welcome to the first intermission of the Blues and Vancouver Canucks of the NHL in regular season on EA Sports. Here's what I did with after the first of the total statistics here, and seeing things from the start of it doesn't really mean that they can definitely do for. 18 over 16 shots on goal for St. Louis over Vancouver, and 18 over 14 for St. Louis. Then it was 216 over 153 for Vancouver, 81% over .4 for both teams, Vancouver and St. Louis. And finally, face-off wins was only 11-4 for Vancouver. Now the action tracker will show things off, and this is where that first goal happens to be Jordan Kyrou without Dylan Holloway. Let's have your takes in, test tube, for Jordan Kyrou. He really had a great start of it. I mean, I don't know how he's able to do that. He hold on to this one, the snap, and just the quick releasement. He just did not have the choice to do this. But this beating really did all what he can. I know he's really starting to show things off, but when you ever think about Jordan Kyrou, you just really are starting to have that great, not just any players, but only Jordan Kyrou, you have the better change of an effort. You're really showing off with a great start of it with the first goal. This is for him tonight. You have to show love to us for the Blues player, and with all that, that's definitely the quick release to have out one zipping it by the goaltender. That's where you give the credit to. Let's have over to you there, Terry, about Vancouver that time. Well, a lot of shots and shots and shots. I mean, it just doesn't really mean it's a quick start to do for anything, but that is the first part of the goal. But they're really starting to get a lot of hectic here, and then before the end of the first period, that definitely gets it off to a nice track. Therefore, Jordan Kyrou, he just had it beaten over by the Vancouver Canucks players defensively. That really was a little off. They're trying to see if they can definitely have the answers in with some big shots on goal, or some gets, or maybe a goal. Maybe that might be only one thing that we have to watch for our test tube. We'll see how they answer it back. I bet they do. We'll see how this one here goes. That's really a science rule fiction. That's what I'm definitely looking for. Well, I mean, chemistry doesn't matter. Isaac Newton's General's third generation law. Yeah, it definitely do for. Yep, you know that. So there, for the end of the first intermission, as I go back down over to one of those guys, and as for Willie and the crew, time for the second period. We'll see you folks later for the second intermission. On the other hand, let's do again Vancouver and St. Louis. Time to get back on ice. Welcome back, folks. For those of you just joining us here, we're here for the second period and ready for ice time. Whirlbirds and their teams are set, ready for the second period. All right, ballpoint pen, this one is for you. Let's see what your recap is for St. Louis with the first goal. The startup happens to be only with Broberg, and the only thing with Jordan Kyrou, he really has making the first part of the goal. And as for St. Louis, they start up with a great goal, a 1-0 lead. It's a big change-off that they're really doing it for. I'm not really sure how they're doing this, but when they ever have to do it, accommodate to someone, they have to make sure they really have the better pressure. Clock battling in front here for the Crescent, as Lankinen will stop that in play with only 19:20 remaining in the second period. So a lot of plenty of energy left here for Vancouver. They're starting to look for a tie game, and it's still 1-0 as they trail by 1. Here's Pettersson, the other way for the Vancouver Canucks. Canucks on a transition, fires a shot, misses wide, and rebounded up by Thomas. Pettersson chomps it up too soon. Carlson sets to Pettersson. Here's O'Connor, the shot one, big save by Binnington, in front, given away by Broberg. Jake Neighbors out of here, and back in Vancouver territory. Another save by Lankinen the other way. Yes, it's really what happens to be only one change. Whatever happens to Broberg, that really is where he is going to get up to a nice rebound after a save by Binnington. And then Lankinen the other hand of it, that really would have to caught it off him off guard. They really are starting to look for some answers. Here's Jake DeBrusk from the corner of the wall. Right in motion, a big cut save by Evander Kane. And as here's Kessel, Pettersson fires a glove save by Binnington. 17-12 to go in the second period. Rehydrate and recharge. 82 for both teams of it. They're starting to look strong. But as now, they're starting to look for an answers to have that tie. As Vancouver wins it, Willander, that one chopped it up too lately by the Blues. And St. Louis on the attack the other way. Here's Kessel, that pokes it up for the Vancouver zone. Navarsky finding the Cam Fowler, and another huge save by Lankinen the other way to Willander. Canucks back into Blues territory. Willander sprints, finds Pettersson's shot. Off the blocker again by Binnington. Rebounded by Canucks. Jonathan Drouin will have that one taken away. 16 minutes to spare in the second period. Drouin shoots, saved by Lankinen. This one will stop the play of under 16 minutes in the second period.
You know, they're spending a lot of time here, and what you have to do is they just got to keep training on this. Never admits.
I mean, they really are starting to have some other goal in contact, but this hard-on shot is going to definitely keep on wasting it and timing it quickly. Jake DeBrusk in motion, saved by Binnington. And it's now Tucker will set to Tropichenko. St. Louis trying to add some answers. Bluger with the wing. Here's DeBrusk. Sprints in front, stopped by Binnington. 15-3 in the second period as Binnington will get some a little time to rehydrate and get back on ice. On a big change here as Jack Finley's ready for the draw against Pettersson. And Finley wins the draw, and as Malix will have it now over again to Tucker. He will have it to Jack Finley to Tropichenko. Dumps it around the net. Pettersson. Now sprints the other way for Vancouver. The other Pettersson. In middle. Tucker given away, and now here's Suter. He will have that one sent out of here. Vancouver has that one controlled as Carlson heads this way to Pettersson. On the shot, this is wide, and that goes back to Malix the other way to Suter. Suter the other way for the Blues. Poked it and rebounded by Pettersson. This one gets chopped by a stick, and now Pettersson will have it to Drew O'Connor. It's given away by Suter. Suter has that pass, fires it deep. He saves, he scores! Trent Snow has it clear, and there is a 2-0 lead for the Blues. This rebound really gained it up. Firing from deep, and then what Snugglebrook made, he had that one snapped. That is another huge goal opportunity for Jimmy Snugglebrook, his first goal of his irregular season tournament. I was not even sure how he's able to do this, but beating by Lincoln was just a hard pickoff play. Blues with a 2-0 lead over Vancouver with only 13 remaining in the second period. As Vancouver wins the draw, here's Bowen. Bowen the pass to Boozer. That one blocked by Neighbors. And he sprints his way into Vancouver territory looking for numbers. Rebounded away by Vancouver. He now finds to Liam Ogren. In the Blues territory, Liam Ogren to Bowen. Bowen steps it back. That one covers by Binnington with only 12:19 remaining in the second period. I do have an update here for the injury report as I will now send it over to Silver Spoon for Dylan Holloway.
Thanks, guys. Whatever happens with him and Dylan Holloway, he has definitely been knocked down, and he has been concentrating it on the blocking shot. This is definitely where it hurts for him. I talked to one of the medical staff employees, and he's definitely having a little bit unsteady for the start of it for Dylan Holloway. He misses one of the better change-up, but the start of the first period was a big shutdown, and we really know that this is definitely could hurt everything for him. All that time happens to be with Dylan Holloway, he will definitely be missing it out for every rest of the periods. But as of now, Binnington and the other teams will have to play without Dylan Holloway. He will be missed, and will have his speedy recovery the other way. Back to you, Willie.
Thank you so much, Silver Spoon. With the always we make some aggressions, and we wish for him a speedy recovery for Dylan Holloway to have it healed back up, and hopes for the second round to get back in the game.
It definitely is. I mean, I know it's really hard. Most likely that every time you see about Dylan Holloway, you really have to show some respect and give some honor of it to play away. I know it's really hard for him sometimes. We'll see how that happens for the next game.
Here's Colton Parayko, battle along the boards. And he's out at the snuggle ride. Finding Thomas. Thomas on a sprint. Rushes right toward the Cairo on a shot. Saved by Lankinen. 10:42 to go in the second period. And they'll be ready to have another reinforcement group to get started for another puck drop. 16-9 for Vancouver, as they're starting to look for an in-battle attack for the St. Louis Blues. With another big draw, another save by Lankinen. And here's Broberg. Broberg cut, stop made by Lankinen. Now here's William Karlsson the other way for Vancouver. O'Connor, shot, big stop by Binnington. Dvorsky to send over to Broberg. Big change-off now again over to Berggren. Berggren shot saved again by Lankinen. In front, Drouin shot stop again by Lankinen on a shutdown without passing a midway mark in the second period. This is what they really did. What Kevin Lankinen is really giving it. The pad Rooney stop. That happens to be a pad closeout save, and he reaches it perfectly. Now this is another big change for Blues to have that one pressuring on the goaltender. A lot of time left in the period. No score for Vancouver as they trail by 2. St. Louis starting to show some of the respect of it, and they are looking to get into the second round. Here's a pass to Höglander. Höglander in the middle. Dvorsky got a shot. Big save by Binnington. 3-time stop. What a crowd favorite. Binnington denies on a recharge. And back to Brentford. Oh, you have to believe that. Jordan Binnington is really like having a save. This miraculous is to start off to have the pressure from Kevin Lankinen. Canucks back in the Blues territory. Höglander shoots a number 1 big save again by Binnington. And here's DeBrusk outside of Hronek on a shot deflection off of Thomas. Rebounded again by the Blues. Robert Thomas now finds to Berggren. Berggren with 2-on-2. Another save by Lankinen. Thomas to Kyrou. Stop again by Lankinen. Berggren shot. Denies it. He got all of it. A middle save made by Lankinen. Kyrou. Full pressure on the Blues. Finding answers from Robert Thomas. Berggren. Saved by Lankinen. Hronek clears that out. And back to Höglander. This is now the time to be doing it for him. This payback is going to definitely bring it all down in one hit. Here's Pavel Buchnevich the other way for Vancouver. That one is chipped out, and it's back to Willander, again to Höglander. Höglander sends over to Rosie. Rosie shot saved by Binnington. Besser in motion, another blocker saved by Binnington. Tucker finding to Buchnevich to look to Malex. St. Louis in Vancouver territory. Will have it around the net, and Willander will have it to DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk trying to get to Rosie. They will get it out. Marco Rosie in a push. The carry-on, cut away by Tucker, and almost would have been taken down. Besser shot, big chance in playing effort. Got poked out, denies by Binnington, and Robert Thomas clears it out. They'll appear to go offside as we will have it under 5 minutes in the mid-period. You have to love how Kevin Lankinen is doing it for him. This is a lot of huge contact saves, and nowhere pressure is at all. That's pretty much every saves that happens to make 28 saves in a row. Kevin Lankinen is really up for something. He's really trying to save it, and he's not done yet. He's really trying to save it big without the regular season loss. With the big player option, let's see what your takes happened with you, Silver Spoon, for Kevin Lankinen on a wonderful save. I really have to say that Kevin Lankinen is really making a great saves. He's just pushing it off to a great start. He's really like change up to be anybody than perfect. What we really know about it is Kevin Lankinen, he's really giving a huge save. His compact component really have done it out. But one thing's for sure is he's really on a recharge, just like Jordan Binnington. We'll have to watch it carefully for now and see what changes in. This is definitely going to be the harder push-off to do it for the second round. So let's see what they have. Back to you, Dermilly. Big save by Lincoln, and back to Willinger. The other way to Drew O'Connor. That's one impeccable save here. Drew O'Connor's really like giving it already change to do. Not anybody's going to be good at it, but that's a big snap. Patterson in front, save by Bennington, and a shot. He rings the goalpost. Patterson in deep, save by Bennington. And here's another chance over to Neighbors. Outside to Mancini. Now finds it over to Kane. We're one with under 3 minutes in the second period. Here's Besser. On the shot, big save by Bennington. And a quick release now has it up around the boards to have that clash and effort. Here's another one to Colton Parayko. You'll find Thomas. Thomas in middle. Shot, close save by Lincoln. You'll get a clear effort here as Lincoln will hold the pace with under nearing the 2-minute mark in the mid-period. It's another big hustle when every time you see how Lincoln happens to be this. I mean, this is one close call happens to be with only off the goalpost and then makes a save. That Lincoln was really have a nice drive. This is the best game of the night for Kevin Lincoln to have that one keeping it out. He's really like showing it off how he could definitely make some great moves without Tachyjenko, but that really is denying a big effort. They're at the end of these midway mark in the period. It's still 2-0 St. Louis. Buchnevich wins the draw. Kessel shot stop made by Lincoln. Just under 2 minutes in the second period. And they're still looking for another goal for the Blues to try to knock down the Canadian team. One last game only mentions it as the Flames upset the Sharks in regulation period by night number 1. But therefore, the Canucks really wanted to do the same thing, but it seemed like the Blues wanted to defend it off and get them out of here. Cam Fowler finds Neighbors with 1:30 to go in the second. Neighbors, along the way near the crease, can't get a deflection, and it's stopped by Lincoln with 1:15 to go in the second. Second intermission is coming underway. As for Terry Crews and Test Tube will be standing by shortly after the second period. We'll see what happens with the second period recap for the intermission. Approaching a final minute in the second period, and here's Mitchell with a big smackdown. Sutter finds Finley, off to Torpachenko. Takes a whip on the hit, and here's Bowen the other way, and he'll set the pass to Marco Rossi. Marco Rossi enters his own 1-tee shot, stop made by Bennington, and Torpachenko back for the St. Louis Blues. Strifing numbers finding the Finley. That blocks a shot, rebounded up by Ogren. And he will take it over to Marco Rossi. Marco Rossi, the Besser. That's a shoot, saved by Bennington. And therefore we end the second period. 2 periods down, 1 more to go in St. Louis. 2-0 St. Louis. Looking for a clutch to get to the second round to face against the Kraken. More stories for this after the break. Hey everybody, welcome to the second intermission of the NHL regular season tournament. As we play 2 periods down, here are the statistics after this. It was 42/41 shots on goal for St. Louis over Vancouver, then 26/23 hits in the play for Vancouver to have that one knocking down by the Blues. 420/358 was Vancouver on the time on attack. 86% was trailed off by 5% for St. Louis. As for Vancouver, they're still getting their feelings down. And for the Vancouver, they have 19/12 face-off wins over St. Louis. The big action tracker as we have a look on the other side of it. And this is pretty much big hits here. A lot of shots for Vancouver. They're starting to look for answers on the goal. But now I will turn my attention over to Test Tube for the St. Louis Blues. Jordan Binnington made a wonderful, huge recharge save. What do you see about that? He's really up for something. I mean, he's really showing it off. That's a science technique for a recharge for Jordan Binnington. I mean, you have to say for this. This is pretty much the concern with for
Jordan Binnington, he is starting to give that one all a strong effort. Nothing stays in momentum. That's pretty much it. He really changed it oftenly. The whole entire point. Whatever happens with Jordan Kyrou, that makes a struggle. The feeling of it doesn't really mean to anything. We'll wait and see what changes if the next goal appears for Vancouver. And for Binnington, he's pretty on to something. Now I have your facts here for you, Terry Crews, about Vancouver Canucks. They're trying to work it off their hard. Yeah, I know what the feeling it happens with test too, but for the Blues, they've been knocking out strong, but the Vancouver Canucks, from regulation of the season, they just scored it and tied it up. But it looks like they gotta find some answers here in the third period. They really are starting to get a lot of help in needing, and I know the head coaches are saying, I know we're playing hard, but let's fake it to make it. We have our chance to get down by 1. So let's show our way off. Get some a lot of hydration, and then get back into the game. This is pretty much simple out there, Test 2, but that's pretty much what they're looking for. Well, I know what you're feeling about this. Definitely, we're going to show how it's done. And let's see what they can do to try to keep back in there. All right, so the second period is down. We've got one more period to go in St. Louis for regulation period, as I will send it back over to Willie and Ballpoint Pen and Silver Spoon. This is going to be a great part of the night. Let's see what they have. And this point, we'll send back over the other way. As for Roy Cruz and Son of Beast will be ready for you for the post-game show after the game. So therefore, we say goodbye for now. And with that, we'll see you all for the next couple of games. Now back to St. Louis to start for the third period. Two periods down and one more to go in St. Louis. Ready to prepare for the third. Here we are, fellas, with one of the tight games here, as since the last part of the season will be season number 5. Let's see how they do. All right, Ballpoint Pen, I know this is definitely one of the hardest, toughest feelings, but looks like you have on your choice. How do you see out there?
Well, Vancouver has a 2-minute minor penalty on number 18 for cross-checking.
Now Vancouver is just struggling to find a way to end it, and now there is a penalty kill. It's on Joe O'Connor. That means the Blues are going to get the power play out there. They're going to have to see what they can get to do. So they can definitely start fighting it off the wrong way or the right way. Blues on a power play, with just only starting down in the third period. Drew O'Connor in the penalty box, and Blues are ready to take on. Power play needs to start that off. Whenever they do for it, they're ready to start having some answers down. And when they don't get to do it for it, they have to watch it carefully. Those guys are going to definitely be pulling away and then get left out. The rebound by Philip Broberg, and here's another one to Tropachenko. And the pass off to Jonathan Druitt. Here's Dvorsky, shot blocked on the diving play for Vancouver. What a play by Pettersson. Pettersson really makes that a nice effort. He dives it across and then just covering it across on the puck. He really had stayed in there. What a great cut. Patterson ball along the boards. Blues still have it now. Tropachenko trying to look for help. Dvorsky on the backhander is blocked up by Philip Hronek. Hronek kicks the puck over in the wall. Rebound by Pettersson. Patterson went down with the kick. Dvorsky the other way. 40 seconds for the Blues power play. Dvorsky in middle. Tunnel shot. Number saved by Lincoln. Tropachenko to Broberg. Broberg fires. Walker saved again by Lincoln. Blues are almost out. They're running out of time. Jonan kicks it over. Broberg in front. Jonan saved by Lincoln. Took him down. No penalty for Vancouver as the power play is expired for St. Louis. St. Louis are really starting to have some knockdown answers. They want to find a scale for the note. But as for Vancouver, they're denying this. They cannot slow this down. They are just trying to push and get a goal back the other way. The Blues back on the attack. Tropachenko. Pass Dvorsky on the pad save by Lankinen. Dvorsky in middle front. He scores! What about that? Alexei Tropachenko has now given Turpachenko is really right in patiently and watching the middle. The changeoff really has to do with it beyond the back. And as for Dvorsky said with the Turpachenko, he really waits it. And as for Lincoln, he was a little too slightly late to have that one beating it off. That's right into the middle. He was not pretty sure how he was able to get that confident goal. He's really pushing it so well. Turpachenko, first goal in his in-regular season tournament with 3:47 time on a goal. And now Vancouver needs to find the answers. Snatched by Binnington with 16:11 to go in the third period. Binnington's really starting to have that one showing on a roll. He makes a nice save and impressive recharge. This is my best take for the game of the night for Jordan Binnington, and he's really showing it all how he's doing it. Nothing says for now for Jordan Binnington. He really had that great save. Just cannot let it slow things out of the way. When you know for Binnington, he really has a good start. The Early Edges goes right in with a 3-0 lead for St. Louis. 16:11 to go in the third period, and they're ready for another puck drop. Buchevich wins the draw. Broberg the other way, now finding to Kyrou. Jordan Kyrou right from the wing. Another stop by Lincoln, and he will have that one squeezing it in with only 15:53 to go in the third. With some upcoming games later tonight, we have the Rangers and the Capitals. They'll be playing here at Washington. That game time starts at 7 p.m. for the first game. And then at 9 will be the Nashville Predators, and they will face against the Chicago Blackhawks and their teams. And one of the team wins, they will face against the Calgary Flames in the second round. It's definitely hard to tell what game's important, but it really changes off to have it all. And with the other one to say about the New York Rangers, they're really one of the better team to play in the visiting team. But it seemed like that the home team really has fighting it off with the issues of it. And as for the Capitals, they've been a better team with that. They've beaten it so many times here at Madison Square Garden. But one thing is importantly, Alex Ovechkin might win things often. What is your chance on that? Well, I'm going to say that the Blues might face against the Kraken, and that's one. And then for the other one, I'm going to say that the Capitals are going to face against the Islanders in the second round. This might be what it takes. So, they could definitely play it all for anything. Oh, Neighbors, what a save by Lincoln! And he just can't get a goal back in. Jake DeBrusk the other way for Vancouver. He broke in the stick. And that went back to DeBrusk. Shot blocked again by Neighbors. Fowler sets to Kessel, and only 14 minutes remain approaching by in the third period. Kessel, and great tip poke advantage by Vancouver on a shot. Buren will have that piece. And now here's another chance of DeBrusk. DeBrusk in front, Bluger, shot wide. Rebound by Cam Fowler. He'll find DeKessel. Jordan Kyrou the other way. Long stretch pass over again to Neighbors. And that broken it away here for Vancouver. Marco Rossi trying to look for the beat. Takes a spill. And a shot. Rebounds in. He scores. That's Bluger. And now they are finally have the answers for Vancouver. They got themselves on the board. Well, what a swing and a miss. And Jordan Binnington, watch this. He just couldn't get a reaching skid to have it through, and then as you can see on Bluger, it goes right off the blade, and that backhander goes right back into the net. Vancouver's really waiting it off so patiently, and as Bluger sends it up with the rebound, that goes right in the net. Despite with the crowd effort with the finish, it's 3-1. Bluger with only 7:05, time on a goal by Marco Rossi, and now Philip Hronek will now have it again to Alex. Here's Suter the other way, now finds it off to Turpachenko. Finley, it's back to Evander Kane. He'll set it out here around the net, and Blues will have some new line group change. Here's Tucker. Long stretching pass to Finley has broken it up. No icing on St. Louis. He now finds Roddy. Rebound by Suter. We'll send it over into the Vancouver zone. And the Canucks will have it. What a big knockdown again. Big Craig on the board. Rebound by Tucker. Finley shoots. Glove save by Lincoln. Lankin is going to hold on with only 11:21 remaining in the third. 3-1 is the score for St. Louis. Torpachenko, he's really on to a fierce. He just puts the battle and wham, right into her in a wall. I mean, that's big defense. Confidently, I wasn't really sure how he was definitely going to pay it off, but that really was a nice play to have the effort. With the win, here's Pedersen, and he'll find a Willender to find a Carlson. Opportunity chance for Carlson for Vancouver. In front. That one is tipped off and lifted away from the stick. Rebounded by Vancouver. Drew O'Connor. Pass to Broberg with an interception the other way, and Jonathan Drouin will have it out. Drouin. Going to Pareko. Broberg goes down with a hit. Drew O'Connor looks at Drew Carlson the other way. O'Connor fires a save by Binnington. 10-11 to go in the third period as they're nearing the midway mark in the end of regulation. Just a lot of quick notes here as we were seeing for the Flames. They will see if they play against the Blackhawks or Nashville Predators, if they will be at home or if they will be away at Nashville. If they win, they will be able to play it at home in Scotiabank Saddledome against the Blackhawks for the second round. Might be the big pick here. I'm going to say that Chicago Blackhawks hasn't been rated into the second round, but that's my take, but I would love to see if they can get through it. This is definitely the harder ones to get through it down. Maybe the pressure is going to be on for a simple. Here's Willinger. Vancouver back in the offense zone. What did I say by Binnington on the blocker? And Broberg will now have it to snuggle row with under 9 minutes in the third. Snuggle run. In front. Back to Thomas. And back to Pedersen. Marco Rossi has it over to Jake DeBrusk. And wall down with a bang. 30 hits in a row for St. Louis as neighbors will have it over the other way. Well, they are starting to have a little bit of a attacking note. That's really what they were causing it to do to wipe their balance. That's definitely another big hit. This is a lot of nice effort to have that win. St. Louis getting back in the playoffs wasn't really easy, but the regular season tournament might be their answers. We'll see how well they keep alive in for the bracket. Bill Barodi now find to Pedersen. Elias Pedersen swings and misses. Another big stick on a poke check by Tucker. Drew O'Connor making a move, and that one will go out of the blue line. And Vancouver will have a new change-off. Pedersen the other way. Fires it. Another one saved by Binnington. Jack Finley has it to Cam Fowler. St. Louis on the rushing attacker right around the wall. And rebound by Philip Hronek. Blues trying to able to have that one stealing away. And Pedersen has it again to the other Pedersen. He fires it. That goes off the stick and off the glass. Took a smackdown right toward the wall. Cam Fowler trying to get it out. And with no offside on Vancouver, they'll have it back in for Evander Kane. Kane in front. Another save by Binnington. In front, stop by Binnington. Another shutdown for the Blues as Binnington saves a recharge. 5:41 or 5:39 time on attack. Time is just too close to get another goal. And as Roddy wins it, another save by Binnington. Dvorsky has it over to Jordan. Here's another one to Berggren. Berggren looking front. Pat stopped by Lankinen. Here in the final 5 minutes in the third period, St. Louis looking for a party to celebrate and make their way to the next round to stay home to face against the Kraken. Dvorsky wins the draw. Here's Kessel. Fires a save made by Lankinen. Berggren battle along the boards. Back in front. Oh, Lankinen. How did he get that another huge stop effort? What a nice save for Vancouver. He's really starting to get a lot of bustle. You know, I don't really see how that Lankinen was getting it close, but that's a really tight save. Back-to-back winning draws. And Vancouver will get it out as Mancini sends to DeBrusk. Past 5 minutes presented by Discover. Here's DeBrusk moving in front. No cut squeeze here. Trying to get back to Cam Fowler. He looks at Dvorsky. A swing and miss effort. Dvorsky. Rushing to middle. Saved by Lankinen. Puts a battle on the boards. And now will be a cross-checking of Vancouver. Hoaglander is going to the penalty
Vancouver
box.
has a 2-minute minor penalty on the 21 for cross-checking.
It's big struggle. Watch this bang here. Yeah, that is nasty. Kudo. And as Hoaglander, he's in a penalty box. Blues with another power play effort. They're 0 for 1. They'll have to see what the score comes in nearing before the end of regulation. Well, I mean, Vancouver really is off to a strong start, but they're really starting to push down, and now Evander Kane is going to have to do some big effort. Need some big action here. They got to have some timing options. Have to play it up. If they wanted to get it out, I mean, they can get a short-handed goal to get back down to a 1-point game. Looks like they're definitely trying to work it off. Only the second period is really on a hard stride. This is definitely where they're going to get it. Play and effort, don't get away with it. There's Kyrou. Pass to Thomas. Blanking him with a stop with only 3:40 to go in the third period. But as you see why Lankinen is really like giving a little pickoffs this one, this happens to be Lankinen a huge save to have that power play action. When you pass out to Robert Thomas, you can notice that you got a good eye track on the puck, and that is a good save on the glove. That's pretty much a secure victim to have that one playing out. 29/18 face-off wins for Vancouver with only 3:40 to go in the third period. They're starting to look for some answers here for Vancouver. We'll see if they can get it down after a big patch save by Lankinen. Gorbatchenko, he What a release! Blues shows off victory surprise. That's 2 in a row after a bad save by Lankinen. Now watch what Gorbatchenko did. That is a quick snap, and that goes right into the net. You do not see how he was able to have that eye on track. That one leaps, and it goes right over the net. That's power play victory, and 1 for 2 in the sections. Setting my attention over to Silver Spoon with only 3:30 left to go in the third. Gorbatchenko has 2 goals. What do you see about this one? I really see so much about saying about this Gorbatchenko. The drive is really turning out excellent. This backfield performance is really starting to make that one change it up. I was really sure that Gorbatchenko had 2 goals in regular season tournament. A power play goal? He was absolutely stunned. Give the better effort, the energy, and the crowd favorite. We'll see what happens with this for the next round. But Gorbatchenko, he's getting closer for 3. How long does he handle it? Well, it's better answer with that. I'll see about more about it for Gorbatchenko. With some full pressure on ice. This is from the head coaches. Better achievement successful. Back to you, Willie. All right, thank you to Silver Spoon, and there's now with only 2:30 to go. Here's Pedersen. Shot, save by Binnington. Gloved in the 90 effort with only 2:12 remaining. I have to say about Jordan Binnington, he's really making a stopping save. He just have it all what he can get. Just nearing a 2-minute mark in the third period. 4-1 to score for St. Louis. Buchnevich wins the draw, now finds it to Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou rumbles with the hit, now back to Marco Rossi the other way. He has it over to Besser. Here's Besser. Looks again to Ogren. Big save by Binnington. And he'll have it hold on with only 1:40 to go in the third period. Now for the big chance in scoring questions, I'll back to Silver Spoon, who had the best player of the night. Well, Jordan Binnington is really like making a save. This is preposterous. Making saves is just all the recharge would be able to do for him. And he's playing it for so confidently on the night. He is all for a recharge. I love his skills. That is a big change-up for Jordan Binnington. And as Joel Holford, he's making an applying effort. He's showing us some surprises. Jordan Binnington will continue with this recharge. Back to you, Willie. Under a final minute of the third period, here's Ogren. A shot, he scores! It's another goal for Vancouver. Now that time he gets his first goal, and a late period in the third. It goes back down with a 4-2 lead. Well, Liam Ogren, and after a changeover again, this is definitely a great take for Liam Ogren. That really is a big shutdown to have some courtesies. As Liam Ogren, he passes right over to Binnington. That one is taken away from the Blues' offensive strategy. And then this takeaway happens to be with Ogren on a shot. Backs right into the net when you're going to get. Blues fan starts rising up. As now they're ready for another puck drop. Bluebear wins the draw. Patterson back to Holander. Lankinens is heading to the bench for the extra attacker and a save by Binnington. 44 seconds left in the third period. And they'll be able to have another attacker coming on the board. 38 over 34 hits in the game. And this has been a big crowd standout. It's 2 in a row after part of a regular season. Now the in-season tournament is going to be a big night. Here's Holander. Shot blocked. DeBrusk shot. Saved by Binnington. Tonin can't get it clear. Willinger shot. Saved by Binnington. And rebounded by the Blues. Here's Berggren. Tonin. Rebounded DeBrusk. And a save by Binnington. Denies it. He cannot get away with this. What a stop. Fans have been loving this one. Oh boy, I mean, I've really seen what Jordan Binnington is. He has been knocking it clearly to get it down. Now the win for Thomas. Kessel. Send to deep. Willander. One last chance for the Canucks. That's saved by Binnington. And that is going to end. St. Louis will be a victory home for tonight, and that will end 5-1. Not really, but only 4-2 is your final score. They head on to race against the Kraken. Well, as for Binnington, he's really making a save, and this powerful enough is going to make it all change out. Whatever you do for him, you have to get it clear to spread the room. How about we salute to the fans? And Louis? We always appreciate how he is able to do to have that crowd energy up to level. While we say goodbye to St. Louis, as for me and my broadcasting partner, along with Teston and Terry Crews, and along with the center eye Silver Spoon and my side broadcast partner, with Ballpoint Pen, I'm Willie, and you've been watching the Inregular season tournament of the NHL. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later for the second round against the Kraken. Good night, and thanks for watching. All right, thank you there, Willie, and what a big win for St. Louis. Here are 3-star players in action. The third star starts off with Jimmy Snugglebrook with 1 goal, 1 assist, and 3 hits. He only does this to have that one with the bang in action and a rebound put him back in. The second star player in the game for the St. Louis Blues goes to Alexei Torpachenko. With 2 goals and 2 hits, he only did this for once and for the power play goal twice. That's great goal to have the action. And tonight's first star player of the game, Jordan Binnington. 61 saves. He has been on a dominating recharge effort. And a goaltender with the win, they're heading on to the second round to play at home against the Kraken. And here's how they did after the game. 64 over 63 shots on goal for St. Louis. 42 over 34 hits for Vancouver. 632 over 619 time on attack for St. Louis. Then it was 85 and 87 for St. Louis over Vancouver on the passing effectiveness. 41 over 24 Vancouver faceoff wins. 4-minute penalty kill was on Vancouver, and 1 power play goal only makes with only 2:44. So therefore, that ends with the first 2 nights of the game. Stay tuned, we got our next 2 nights, and I will be seeing you all later here in Washington as I'll be broadcasting here for the Capitals. And this will be all for the next part of the game. Well, we say goodbye to the first 2 games, as the next part of the game will be all for anything, Rangers and Capitals, and Nashville Predators against the Chicago Blackhawks. Get ready for tonight's game, and we'll be back with you shortly. Well, folks, that's going to end us here for 2 nights. We'll see you all for the second 2 nights on the other hand. So long, everybody, for as a while as the NHL in regular season
of the NHL 26 gameplay dial. This is Son of Beast and Roy Cruz signing out. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
If you don't, somebody will.